What's up, nerds? It's Friday, last poem of the entire poetry unit. We are putting this thing to rest today, and we end it on I think, kind of a high note. Something that's kind of fun, a little bit lighter, maybe not as serious, but still fairly serious. So we'll knock things out today with Tom Wayman. All right, this one is called Did I Miss Anything? Let's read through it a couple of times. Nothing. When we realized you weren't here, we sat with our hands folded on our desks in silence for the full 2 hours. Everything. I gave an exam worth 40% of the grade for this term and assigned some reading due today, on which I'm about to hand out a quiz worth 50%. Nothing. None of the content of this course has value or meaning. Take as many days off as you like. Any activities we undertake as a class, I assure you, will not matter either to you or me and are without purpose. Everything. A few minutes after we began last time, a shaft of light suddenly descended, and an angel or other heavenly being appeared and revealed to us what each woman or man must do to attain divine wisdom in this life and the hereafter. This is the last time the class will meet before we disperse to bring the good news to all people on earth. Nothing. When you're not present, how could something significant occur? Everything. Contained in this classroom is a microcosm of human experience, assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. This is not the only place such an opportunity has been gathered, but it was one place, and you weren't here. So there's the first time through. Let's read it a second time and make sure that we're seeing it. Hopefully change it up just a little bit for you so you can hear something different. Did I Miss Anything? By Tom Wayman. Nothing. When we realized you weren't here, we sat with our hands folded on our desks in silence for the full 2 hours. Everything. I gave an exam worth 40% of the grade for this term and assigned some reading due today, on which I'm about to hand out a quiz worth 50%. Nothing. None of the content of this course has any value or meaning. Take off as many days as you like. Any activities we undertake in this class, or we undertake as a class, I assure you, will not matter either to you or me and are without purpose. Everything. A few minutes after we began last time, a shaft of light suddenly descended, and an angel or other heavenly being appeared and revealed to us what each man or woman must do to attain divine wisdom in this life and the hereafter. This is the last time the class will meet before we disperse to bring the good news to all people on earth. Nothing. When you are not present, how could something significant occur? Everything. Contained in this classroom is a microcosm of human experience, assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. This is not the only such place an opportunity has been gathered, but it was one place, and you weren't here. All right. So there's the poem. Hopefully you can see why this one might be important to me. It seems to me like one of the things that is present in this poem is something that you might have become familiar with over the course of our studies together this year. There might be some sarcasm. For those of you who don't understand sarcasm, that was definitely sarcasm. There is lots of sarcasm. This poem is dripping in sarcasm. Lots of sarcasm here. So, and certainly this is one of those that I would like to finish up with. Let's start with what the title is. Did I miss anything? How many times this year have I been asked that question? Holy cow. If there's any bright light in this COVID-19 fiasco, nobody's asked me, did I miss anything? That's the one thing that's going on. Outside of that, So as we're looking at this, one thing that we can see is structurally what the poet has done here is he's alternated. So we have a 1 and then a 2 and then a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. With each of the 2s being very, very sarcastic and each of the 1s being very, very sarcastic. Wait a second. I guess they're all sarcastic. But each of the ones is saying that you didn't miss anything important. And then each of the two stanzas is saying that you missed everything that's important. Of course, probably there's a middle ground somewhere in there between these two different extreme, polar, opposite versions of sarcasm. But, how is that fun for the poem to be like, oh, yeah, you forgot to pick up the reading log yesterday when you weren't here. And also, we did the current events reading log and you should have turned that in yesterday. So I guess you can do that later. It's not a great poem. So as we're looking at this, the first one, essentially, the poet says, you didn't show up, so we all sat here and waited for you. Very sarcastic. Of course, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to continue to work and get stuff done every single day. Stanza 2. This one sounds like me. Oh yeah, no, we gave a test that was worth 40% of your grade, and then on top of that I assigned some stuff that you were supposed to read for today, and now there's a quiz today that's worth 50% of your grade. Wait a second, Mr. White, the test is worth 40% and then the quiz is worth 50%? Yeah, are you questioning my math? Because I know what I'm doing. Third stanza, back to nothing again. This course has no value or meaning. Take as many days off as you want. None of this will matter to either one of us, and there's no purpose for us to be here. And you can see that this is written from the opinion of a teacher, or from the view of a teacher who is struggling with students who are not showing up. Now, of course, you guys have been great about showing up at all times over the course of this year. And the only reason that we're not all sitting at the same time in a classroom is because of some giant global pandemic or something. But you guys have been great about all this from day one till, well, today. Here you can see the sarcasm of like, no, I'm not letting you just take the day. You need to be here and you need to be working hard. After that, the next stanza, stanza 4, it talks about how something miraculous has happened. So the complete opposite of nothing matters in this class. Instead, the most meaningful thing that anyone could have imagined actually happened. And now we have to go and spread the word to everyone else about the miracle that we have seen in this classroom. So again, he's giving us polar opposites of these two different views. Then a short one, nothing significant can happen when you're not here. You are the center of our universe, or that the classroom itself is the universe. A microcosm, that means kind of a miniature version of something that is bigger. If you've been maybe to Epcot and you've seen the little tiny German village with the trains that go through it over at Epcot, and you just wait there for a while and go, I can't believe we're standing here watching these trains as long as we are. I guess my parent really does like trains. That seems weird. They seem weird. Can we go? I'm hungry. Microcosm. It's kind of a microcosm of like a German train town. It's not exactly the same thing, but a tiny version of something bigger. So this is a microcosm of human experience assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. Hey, wait a second. That does sound like my class, though. So we do all of this stuff for you to think about stuff, for you to start questioning things, for you to start investigating on your own and trying to come up with that formulation of, does this make sense? Does it make sense that this guy is wearing an elf cap in April to teach poetry? No, it doesn't. Nothing seems to make sense. He goes on to explain to us, this is not the only such place that an opportunity like this has happened. So there is a definite note here that it is important for you to be in class. It is important for you to think about things. It is important for you to consider all of the different things that your instructors, whether it's me or Meyer or Hicks or Bull or Reeb or Wilson, or we can keep going up and down the halls. Whoever poses a question to you gives you information. And heck, this could come straight off the internet, like this YouTube video that you're watching now, that you think about where it came from, what it means, and what it actually affects you, or how it affects you. Why does it affect you? All of these experiences are available to you at all times. You have to take advantage of them. So did I miss anything? I don't know. It's up to you. Did you miss something? So again, he tags on that last line, but it was one place and you weren't here. So he does show us that there was value to being in this one place at this one time. So did I miss anything? Yeah, absolutely you did. You missed that moment of that microcosm. You missed that moment of learning. You missed that moment of questioning. You missed that moment of examination. You missed that moment of thinking. That moment is gone, but there will be another. And that next time, you should not miss anything. You should focus. You should pay attention. You should be there, be on time, be working hard, and then the good things will come to you. So as we look at did I miss anything, as much as anything, the poet's trying to tell us, look, that's a silly question. Of course you miss something. You're always going to miss something. When you're not here, you've missed the moment, that experience that you could have had. It could have been one of your classmates coming up with just an absolutely brilliant thought. It could have been you coming up with that absolutely brilliant thought. But that moment is now gone. So yeah, you've missed something. Now you'll just have to go and find it on your own. The big things to take away here would be, make sure that you're there. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you're doing each of those things. Make sure you're paying attention to Edmodo. Make sure that you understand what assignments are due each week. Make sure you're going into No Red Ink. Make sure you're doing A3K. Make sure you're writing a poem. Make sure that you're doing the next project that we're working on, starting next week. Make sure that you watch the video so you can see just how stylish my hats are. We're not. So that's it. Poetry in a nutshell. Like 3 weeks of poems, and now you're brilliant at poetry, right? You should be better at poetry than, let's say roughly 80% of the United States population at this point in time. The bad news is you can't go out onto the streets and tell everybody how great you are. You just have to use the internet for that. Works out okay. Take Monday off. That's on me. Go ahead. Enjoy yourself. Another 3-day weekend. Why not? Go crazy. We'll pick back up on Tuesday. We'll have a live class on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Please make sure that you are there. There's going to be some important stuff that we discuss. You will not want to miss it. Again, I say you will not want to miss it. In the meantime, be kind to each other. Good to your family. Make sure you're being kind to yourself. Be safe out there, and I'll talk to you again soon. All right, take care. Have a good weekend.